Smiling, play with a smile on his face, but he didn't smile through the interview. I want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit more smiling.
Get you down there for some broadcast training with him.
Absolutely, yeah. All their players seem to be enjoying their football, and when you've got good players in the same team, in the same squad, all performing, it can be a really dangerous mixture. They've got a lot of good players going forward, and he's absolutely outstanding this year.
Yeah, they've been really exciting, impressive defensively, but exciting in attack too. If we take a look at Forest's remaining Premier League fixtures, because we're at that point in the season, aren't we, where we're going, can they do it? Can they not? Only 2 of their remaining 10 games are against teams currently in the top half. Do you think they are going to get Champions League football this season? How big a achievement would it be?
I think they will. I thought the victory against Manchester City was massive for them, and I think with all the games, and you know, I had a look at it. I think they in the reverse fixtures this season, they only drew with Chelsea, beat everybody else. So that they know how to beat all these teams, and that bodes well for them. But what a season that they've had.
There are only 9 points separating 10th and 3rd in the table. It's incredibly exciting, even if Liverpool are running away with it at the top and the relegation hasn't been quite as maybe tight as we'd have liked. That race for Europe is fascinating, isn't it? Why do you think it's so tight?
I don't know. You've got to look at teams like Fulham and Bournemouth and Brentford and Forest. You know, you've got to tip your hand and say, listen, they've earned the right to be in the race at this stage of the season. You know, you've got some of the familiar faces, but I think it's great. I'm glad that it's not all done. And there's still lots to play for. I mean, there's lots to play for down at the bottom as well, obviously, staying out of the way. But I just think that race there with those sort of 7 clubs, I think is just brilliant.
Manchester City taking on Brighton this afternoon. We've spoken about their disappointing loss to Nottingham Forest last week. Does it feel like they could be out of the Champions League next season? Will they get Champions League football?
I think they will, but I mean, they've just been so inconsistent this season, and you know, after every loss, I always think, well, they're going to bounce back. But it wouldn't be a great shock today to see Brighton go to the Etihad and turn City over.
Brighton could actually go above them in the table as well, which kind of, when you talk about, I don't know if you mentioned them specifically before, but teams like Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, they're kind of messing up the order a little bit, or the order we've been used to.
They are, and under Fabian Hurtzler, they've been pretty phenomenal. Brighton, they've had their inconsistent patches as well, which is what makes it so fascinating. And Bournemouth, of course, as well, have done better than I think we all expected. But Manchester City's drop off and teams like Brighton and Forest in the mix, it makes it a more interesting Premier League.
I think you have to tip your hat to the managers of Fulham and Brentford and Bournemouth, and you've got to say, listen, I don't know what you've done with these players or what with this football club, but you've put yourself in a great position with good football and positive footballing philosophies, and they've got themselves in a chance of European football. Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, I think it's outstanding.
My father-in-law is a Bournemouth fan, and he's already packing his suitcase, I think.
I'm not sure they'll make it.
Don't say that. Chelsea currently occupied 4th place. Let's move on from that. They're away at Arsenal tomorrow. I remember sitting in this studio and everywhere talking about, they're title contenders back before Christmas. What's happened?
I think that's what you just mentioned about City. They're so inconsistent as well. They have all the talent you could wish for to becoming top 4 and pushing next season if they keep the core, but inconsistent. I mean, Cole Palmer's been their man, and he just. I know that he's not a big smiler, and he doesn't smile when he does score, but at the moment he just doesn't seem happy with his game or the way that Chelsea are playing either.
Okay then, well, we do need to move on now, because that is the race for next season's Champions League. But what about this year? Now, the round of 16 has concluded, and Stephen Wyeth has the story of a very dramatic week.
There was an expectation, assumption even, Liverpool would progress, having seized the initiative.